In late 2025, India officially surpassed Japan to become the world's fourth largest economy in nominal GDP terms, with an estimated GDP of around 418 trillion. Discussion is going on. This milestone reflects India's strong economic growth, driven by rising domestic demand, consumption, improving exports, and resilient macroeconomic performance amid global uncertainties. India's GDP expansion has been supported by a sustained high growth rate, around 8.2% in the mid 2025 period, even as inflation remained relatively controlled and unemployment declined. The government has highlighted that these trends position India to potentially surpass Germany and become the world's third largest economy by around 2030. This achievement marks a key shift in the global economic ranking and illustrates India's growing influence in the world economy, especially as a fast growing major emerging market. Why India's economy is growing so fast? Because India has strong domestic demand means India's growth is largely driven by internal consumption, unlike export dependent economies. Factors like rising middle class consumption, growth in services like IT, finance, retail, and telecom, higher government spending on infrastructure. Due to these factors, domestic demand has acted as a growth cushion even when the global economy slowed down. Second reason is demographic advantage. Means India has one of the youngest populations among major economies. So India have large working age population, growing urbanization. This demographic dividend supports long-term growth, productivity, and consumption. Third is resilient macroeconomic management. Despite global shocks, India maintained relative stability, like GDP growth around 8.2% in mid-2025. Inflation largely under control compared to many advanced economies. Stable banking and financial system. Strong foreign exchange reserves. This stability boosted investor confidence. Next, supportive environment is government policy, support economic reforms and public investment played a key role into such as infrastructure push like roads, railways, ports, digital infrastructure. Another is production-linked incentive schemes and ease of doing business reforms. Also digital public infrastructure like UPI, Aadhaar, GST, these policies strengthen manufacturing, logistics and services. Japan's relative slowdown BQ's India overtook Japan not only because India grew fast, but also because Japan's economy faced challenges, such as aging population, low consumption growth, currency, depreciation, yen weakness, long-term stagnation. This highlights how demographics and structural reforms matter. Why this matters for the world. BRQ's India's rise reflects a global economic power shift from traditional advanced economies to emerging markets. India now ranks behind only the US, China, and Germany. Global companies increasingly view India as a key growth market. India's role in global trade, supply chains, and geopolitics is strengthening. This changes how the world looks at India, not just as a developing economy, but as a major global player. Can India become the third largest economy by 2030? According to government projections and international agencies. If India maintains high growth, if inflation and fiscal discipline remain stable, if job creation keeps pace with growth, India could surpass Germany by around 2030 to become the world's third largest economy. However, challenges remain, such as job creation and employment quality, income inequality, education and skill development, and environmental sustainability. So growth must be inclusive and sustainable, not just large in numbers. So now, important economic insight for the students and viewers is that GDP size per capita income. This meanwhile India is now the fourth largest economy, but per capita income remains much lower than developed countries. Living standards vary widely across regions. So this milestone is a starting point. not the final destination. So at the end of this video, what big takeaway we have now is that India's rise to the world's fourth largest economy shows the power of sustained growth, domestic demand, and policy reforms. But the real challenge ahead is turning this growth into better jobs, higher incomes, and improved quality of life for all citizens. So for more information, watch Smart Eco Insight Academy at Smart Eco Insight Zone